Hey guys, Austin back for this week's episode of Pauper Ponderings. As you may know, I now have a webcam. I thought it'd be sweet to, add a little more personality to my videos. I talked to some people and they said, why not have a webcam? So we had one kicking around the office here, so I figured I'd use it. I think it'll be an upgrade. I'm not sure how much you want to be staring at my ugly mug for all 5 videos, but I guess it'll express my emotions a little more. I know that I get pretty into these games, so I guess it'll be fun for you guys to just watch my reactions rather than just hear them. So this week we are playing a deck that, again, I always forget the guy. I will link him in the article and I will get him in the next video, but the deck name is called Perilous Blood. So if you're looking at this deck, it kind of looks similar to Witness Me, the deck that I played a couple weeks ago, where it's a lot of sacrifice effects for value. But this deck, I think, has a lot more potential than that deck. And what I mean by that is it's a little more tuned, and I think the deck itself, its main game plan is a little stronger. So this week we are going to be sacrificing things for value, but those things kind of do, aid our game plan a little more, and the payoffs are a little higher. So what are the payoffs, you may ask? Well, the payoffs are Kirkland Shaman, which is a red 1/1 that I can sacrifice an artifact and he deals 1 damage to each creature without flying, which is pretty sweet because, again, like we've talked about in past videos, Pauper is a format made up of a lot of really small creatures, and this guy acts as kind of like a Wrath of God. But you may say, well, he's a creature without flying, so he's going to take damage. Well, that is fine because you can put a bunch of his abilities onto the stack. So, for instance, I can sacrifice an Ichor Wellspring, I can sacrifice a Chromatic Star, and I can sacrifice a Origin Spellbomb and pay a white and draw a card. So what I've just done there is dealt 3 damage to each non-flyer in play, while also drawing 1, 2, and 3 cards. So that's a pretty good, I would say, rate in terms of resources put in to resources getting out. And I think that's a pretty good start. Now, what do we have as, the way to win the game? Well, instead of little 1/1s for 3, we're actually playing a card called Bloodbriar. So this is a new card. It just got printed in Eldritch Moon. It's 2 and a green for a 2/3. And whenever you sacrifice another permanent, you put a +1/+1 counter on Bloodbriar. So that works well with, again, Ichor Wellspring, and Perilous Mirror, and Prophetic Prism, and Pirate Spellbomb. It sacrifices itself. Origin Spellbomb sacrifices itself. Chromatic Star sacrifices itself. And then Perilous Research can sacrifice any of our baubles or any of our artifact lands, and our Bloodbriars get bigger. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to clear our opponent's board with Kirkland Shamans, draw a bunch of cards with our baubles so we can find Bloodbriars, and then make our Bloodbriars as big as possible and attack them until basically they're dead. I think this is pretty good. I've played a bunch of practice games with it, and I've been fairly impressed with the resiliency of the deck and the power level, and that's usually a good sign with a Pauper deck. Now, if we look at kind of our fail-safe buttons in a way, and our ways to kind of keep going off. If you remember the Sultai deck that we played a couple weeks ago, that deck had a lot of ways to win other than its combo. This deck doesn't have as many, as we are kind of playing Bloodbriar and playing Kirkland Shaman, which are on the face 1 mana 1/1, no abilities, 3 mana 2/3, no abilities. But with the inclusion of cards like Pulse of Marassa and Sanctum Gargoyle and Perilous Research, we're going to be able to keep our hand full, dig to our pieces, keep our opponent's board clear, and hopefully attack with a bunch of big Bloodbriars. I'm excited. I think this deck is really sweet. I've had decent success with it. I've played about 3 or 4 matches right now. I'm currently 3-1, so I am excited for the videos that I'm going to be making here. Hopefully, I kind of reverse this trend. I've kind of went on, I went 0-3, then I went 3-0, then I went 0-3, then I went 3-0. I don't want to say I want to go for a 3-0, but I definitely want a 2-1. I don't want a 1-2, and I definitely don't want a 0-3. So, stay tuned, guys. And before we go to those games, let's take a look at our sideboard. So the sideboard was not included. So usually what I do is I just straight up take the list, play it card for card, and really play it to what its creator had intended it to. But he didn't have a sideboard, so I kind of made one myself. So I added my red favorite Electrickery. I think this card is just, if you're playing red and Pauper, you should be playing this in your sideboard. It deals with so many things, whether it be Infect, whether it be Elves, whether it be Goblins, Delver. It's just so good against everything. It's a lot of the time 2-mana Plague Wind. Then we have some Ancient Grudges for Affinity. Pretty standard in a deck that can make red and green mana. Some Pyroblasts for red decks. I know that it's going to be difficult when we have cards like Bloodbriar that we need to resolve. Fighting back against blue's counterspells is going to be important, while also being able to kill something like a Delver. Then we have a Pulse of Marassa for our more grindy matchups. We can bring in another version of that, or another kind of card that helps us go to the late game a little better. Then we kind of have this sweet little Spellbomb package that I put together. So the standard ones are the Nile Spellbombs. Now, if you'll see, we don't have any black mana sources in our deck other than Prophetic Prism or Chromatic Star. And I thought about playing Relic of Progenitus, but the thing with Relic of Progenitus is it exiles itself. So it does not sacrifice. And I thought that was kind of medium and maybe made sense, but I think the fact that we can sacrifice Nile Spellbomb is good. And the fact that we can make black sometimes with Prophetic Prism and Chromatic Star means that this card is going to be a little better than Tormod's Crypt. So that's why I have Nile Spellbomb in the deck. Then we have 2 Sunbeam Spellbombs, which are going to work against any sort of burn deck that we play against. Again, combos with Bloodbriar while also being able to gain us some life against a Lightning or Lava Spike deck. Then we have 2 Panic Spellbombs. So I kind of envision a scenario where our opponent maybe has something like a Gurmag Angler in play, or maybe a bigger creature that we don't have enough artifacts to sack to kill. So what we can do is Panic Spellbomb that creature and hopefully get in with the Bloodbriar for the last couple points of damage. And this is definitely an experiment, but I do think that it may be good, and who knows, maybe I'm just completely off base, and we can talk about that in our Good, Bad, and the Ugly after we're done playing our games. But this is Perilous Blood. I'm excited to get going here. Again, my name is Austin. This is Pauper Ponderings, and I will see you guys back here for round number 1.